Now, it's day 2 of the interviews for a new Chief Justice. Today, the only woman of the 4 nominees, President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, that's Mandisa Maya, is in the hot seat. Heidi Giokos is in Sandton, where the interviews are currently being held, and she joins us now. Heidi, good morning to you, colleagues. Let's just recap Justice Madlanga's interview yesterday. A big question that came up was his term at the Concourt and how he doesn't have much time.
Certainly, Tumelo, I think this was a question that was asked by almost over 20 commissioners with regards to Justice Madlanga's term. We do know that Constitutional Court judges normally have about 12 years to sit at the Constitutional Court, and Justice Madlanga has about 3.5 years left. So the commission is asking a very important question, justifiably so, to say how are you going to achieve all that you want to achieve in 3.5 years, and Justice Madlanga making it very clear that 3.5 years is a very long time, and the visions and ideas and the plans that he has to tackle some of the pressing issues in the judiciary are achievable in 3.5 years. Of course, many of the commissioners saying that what happens if you aren't able to implement all your ideas and plans in these 3.5 years, and Justice Madlanga saying that of course he will try and make sure that those are implemented even with another Chief Justice. So that might be a mark against Justice Madlanga, but he took it in his stride during the interviews yesterday and made it very clear that he, of course, wants to do all he can in the 3.5 years, and that should not be used to his disadvantage should he be appointed as Chief Justice. Let's listen to some of that interview interaction yesterday.
176(1) of the Constitution provides that, and I quote, a constitutional court judge holds office for a non-renewable term of 12 years or until he or she attains the age of 70, whichever occurs first. Close quote. So you have some 3.5 years or so before you reach the end of your term at the Constitutional Court.
I will accept that. Must say the case has raised an issue that I also used to raise, which is that maybe there is a possibility of saying I am entitled to the longer term.
Now, Justice Madlanga, Heidi, also speaks about how he does have the right leadership skills for this job.
Yes, certainly. I think a lot is considered when these interviews are conducted for the highest position in the judiciary, which is the Chief Justice for the Constitutional Court. There's a lot of administrative work that goes into this, and oftentimes, Tumelo, which was, of course, spoken about in detail yesterday during the interview process with Justice Madlanga, that it becomes very difficult to put aside all the administrative work and the role that a Chief Justice needs to play, the judiciary role, which is a very important one, and the two sometimes should not be confused, and there shouldn't be more emphasis on the administrative work rather than the judiciary role that a Chief Justice plays. But Justice Madlanga saying that he has the necessary skills, the leadership skills. He has been around for a very long time, and it's very important for the commissioners to understand this. Let's listen to what Justice Madlanga had to say with regards to his leadership skills.
To those who seek to emphasize the idea that, but I lack leadership, I don't. I don't. And having started an entity like this from scratch, in an area, and I again emphasize this, in an area that was completely foreign to me, and I led it to success, how much more will I be able to perform in an area where I have grown up? I have grown up within the judiciary. I have been associated with the judiciary for 40 years. Anybody who wants to suggest that just because I have not been a judge president for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or at any other leadership of the judiciary for an extended period, therefore, I am not suited, I do not agree.
Oh, that's Justice Madlanga's interview yesterday. But Heidi, today is also a big day. The only female judge being interviewed for Chief Justice position.
Yes, I think there's much anticipation, Tumelo, with regards to today's interview, because it's Judge President Mandisa Maya, and many are raising the question to say, if she is successful, how will that play out? Because it's going to be the first time in this country that we would have had a Chief Justice that's a female. Questions were also raised yesterday with Justice Madlanga as to whether or not South Africa is ready for a female Chief Justice. Of course, the judge, Justice Madlanga saying that she has the necessary leadership skills, she has the necessary composure, she has all that's needed to be the Chief Justice. But of course, we'll have to just see how that plays out tomorrow. Of course, she has been around for a very long time. She is Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal. So I think there is much anticipation to hear how that interview plays out. So it's going to be a very lengthy day from about 9 o'clock until much later this afternoon. Judge President Mandisa Maya will be interviewed.
All right, Heidi, we'll leave it then. Of course, all those proceedings as they take place, we'll be having them right here on eNCA Live, and obviously thanking you for these updates. Heidi Giokos out there waiting for 9 a.m., of course, as Judge President Mandisa Maya expected to take, of course, to the hot seat.